Honourable members, prayers. Almighty God, we humbly beseech thee, look with favor on this Parliament of the Republic of Ghana. Grant that it may perform its high duty as in their sight. Give divine guidance to the President of the Republic, thou members of Parliament, ministers of state, with discernment and vision, integrity and courage, that through the labors of government, this land, the people, may be well and truly served. Their good purpose for the common human life be realized in our midst. O God, grant us a vision of our country, fair as it might be, country of righteousness, where none shall wrong his neighbor, a country of plenty, where evil and poverty shall be done away with, a country of brotherhood, where all success shall be founded on service, and honor shall be given to the deserving, a country of peace, where government shall rest on the will of the people and the love for the common good. Bless the effort, those who struggle, make this vision a living reality. Fight and strengthen our people, that they may give time, thought, and sacrifice to speed the day of the coming beauty of Ghana and Africa. Amen.
Honourable members, I wish to bring to your kind attention some important information. This is to inform honourable members. The Right Honourable Speaker unavoidably absent position, and in accordance with Standing Order 12.2, the Honourable First Deputy Speaker shall perform the duties and exercise the authority of the chair in relation to all proceedings until Right resumes the chair. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Clerk. Page 1. Page 2. Page 3. Honorable Nyindam.
Thank you, Right Honorable. Unfortunately, some of us are left without a vote, so we are not following what you are doing. The system too is not working. I know you want to talk about the system, but unfortunately, the systems are not working. They are not working. So if Mr. Speaker could give us some time, we can get the post and proceed. Thank you, Right Honorable.
Honorable Minority Chief Whip.
Speaker, my colleagues are justified to raise on this. And I want to further corroborate what you said. Because ordinarily, this is not how it should be. The ICT department and the other officers who are involved. In times past, no. In times past, where new systems are introduced and we have to depart from what we are used to, we are given prior notification. This approach of coming to the chamber and being hit in the face with this surprise, it cannot be justified. And I think the clerk, I know he's a very efficient, the clerk is a very efficient person. And then I see the incoming somebody staring at me. This shouldn't be an issue. It shouldn't be an issue at all. They should have given a prior notification through the PEPs, and that has been the approach. Honorable Governors, now you are leaving, so you are not paying attention. They should give us notification, and then we communicate same to members, so they are armed with it before they come to the chamber. Huh? Why? We should be able to deal with it. The systems are not working.
Honourable members.
Because the systems are not working.
Honourable members, this will not cause too much problem. Honourable members, let's proceed with the correction of votes and proceedings with few people. Honourable members, hear me out, so that if any member thereafter has an issue with the vote and proceedings, same can be taken up with the table office. It's honorable moment.
The challenge is that it's only a few of us who have copies of votes and proceedings. So yes, we will agree that in the meantime we'll deal with it, but let the table office hurriedly work on getting copies of the votes and proceedings. Then we can follow.
Yes, I think we are speaking the same language.
Yeah, but Speaker, they don't
so
have
that
it.
Those who do not have it now,
yes,
whatever issue that they have with the vote and proceedings, they should take it up with the table office so that the necessary corrections would be effected. I give the floor to Honorable Kwame Agoja, the Chief Whip.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, thank you. Mr. Speaker, as a matter of fact, when we started the 9th Parliament, the clerk, through the ICT, took us through some work in terms of introducing us to the new system we are going to use. This morning, Mr. Speaker, the ICT actually came in and told us that Parliament, well, as we know, myself and my colleague were part of the people who sought and got the Parliament to improve our working tools where we have screens in front of us so that we can limit the amount of paper we are printing. This morning, we were taken through, and in fact, Mr. Speaker, I can see my vote and proceedings in front of me. So it is difficult to see how some people can see the same thing and others can see. I know it's a technology. It can happen that one or two may not be having it. But I know that in Parliament sometimes, if you want to even speak and your mic is not working, in fact, all you can do is to move to the next screen because you don't need any login. It's here. It's here. So we are saying the same thing.
ICT compliance.
The chief whip is an advocate for climate change and what we can do to improve things. It's surprising that he is telling you, go and print more paper and come and distribute to people. The world is watching you because you have read more statements in this House in support of climate change. So you are now asking, Mr. Speaker, the ICT can check whether the screens are only working on their side. Mr. Speaker, you can even go and do more things. So, Mr. Speaker, I think we are saying the same thing. It's not difficult. We can actually proceed. This is just votes and proceedings, so it's not a problem. Let them give more of our colleagues the paper version. But we encourage the ICT to see whatever they can do to improve it.
Honourable members, I recognize the majority leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the screen works largely, but I also recognize that some of our colleagues are complaining that their screen aren't working. Mr. Speaker, in recognizing that, my plea is that we print some copies, additional copies of the votes and proceedings, and share it among colleagues whose screens are not working so that we can make some progress. Mr. Speaker, I also urge that as a matter of urgency, the table office immediately engages colleagues in a form of a training so that some of us, it's not everyone that you can assume that they are conversant with the way things like this will work. So, Mr. Speaker, it is very important that as soon as possible, members are taken through the processes where the screen before us will work. Mr. Speaker, clearly I can see documents of which you have the business statement, order papers, standing orders, and all. And so let us, as much as possible, as early as possible, engage members and give them the needed training so that members can apply it. But, Mr. Speaker, clearly now we have enough copies. I can see most of our colleagues holding copies of the votes and proceedings. So I urge you, Mr. Speaker, to continue so that we can make some progress. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much. Honorable Nyindam, you are still on your feet.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, thank you very much. I want to draw your attention to something and to appeal to leadership. The fact that just a circle of them, I can see that the leadership, they are the only people who have access to the electronic. Mr. Speaker, that is what I can see. So what I want to appeal to them is that they should be thinking about members. They should not just be thinking about themselves alone because they keep making references to their electronic device. But unfortunately, majority of us here, including their members there, they don't have it. That's all I just want to draw attention to. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I think we can proceed. We now have enough copies and we can proceed.
Honorable Nyindam, your point is well taken. They should work on the system as much as possible, give some training to members, particularly those of us who are IT challenged. So, honorable members, in the meantime, can we proceed with the correction of votes and proceedings? It is being distributed. In the unlikely event that there is a correction, a member may draw the attention of the table office. So, page 3. Page 4. Page 5. Page 6. Page 7. Yes, Honorable Kinsley Nyako.
Mr. Speaker, on page 7, item 20, Nyako Kinsley was marked absent. With respect, I did apply for leave of absence according to Order 15, and it was duly submitted to my minority chiefship. So I'm surprised I've been marked absent, and I'll be grateful if my name is moved to those members who, to create an opportunity for me to have absence with permission. Thank you.
Okay. Table of it, take note. Page 8. Nine. 10. Yes. Honorable First, Second Deputy Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, indulge me to bring you back to page 7.
Item 5. I think on the 9th, I was sitting here with you, yet I've been marked absent. So if it can be addressed.
Table of it, please take note. Page 11. Page 12. Honourable members, the vote and proceedings of the second sitting dated Thursday, 9th January 2025, as corrected, is hereby adopted as the true record of proceedings. Honourable members, business statement.
Mr. Speaker, the business committee met today at 9 a.m. and arranged the business of the House for the week ending Friday, 24th January 2025. Mr. Speaker, the committee accordingly submit its report as follows. Right Honourable Speaker, you may read any available communication to the House. Again, pursuant to Order 91-2, ministers of state may be permitted to make statements on government policy. You may also submit statements by honourable members in accordance with Order 9 of our standing orders. Mr. Speaker, the Committee of Selection accordingly urged to expedite work on the composition of various committees of the House and submit its report on sale to the House as soon as possible. Members of the committee are therefore required to avail themselves for the important assignment during this week. Right Honourable Speaker, pursuant to Order 97, papers may be laid during the week and reports from the committee may also be presented to the House for consideration. Mr. Speaker, motions may be debated and their consequential resolutions, if any, may be taken during the week. The business committee also extends its warm welcome to honourable members of Parliament as we reconvene following our very short break. The committee also urges members of the House to manage their time effectively and to fully cooperate in the conduct of the business of the House. In conclusion, Mr. Speaker, in accordance with Order 2162 and subject to Order 67 of our standing orders, the committee submits to the House in order of which the business of the House shall be taken during the week. Mr. Speaker, if you look at page 2 of the document, business statement, the business for Tuesday, 21st January 2025 is accordingly recommended. We propose that the House immediately reconvenes into a joint caucus meeting to discuss matters of urgent importance to the House today before we continue immediately after the business committee. Mr. Speaker, we also recommend that on Wednesday, 22nd January 2025, we'll present some papers to the House and motions will accordingly be taken, same as Thursday and Friday. Mr. Speaker, together with the business statement, we have also submitted the proposed calendar for the House for the year 2025. And in it, we are proposing that Parliament will be working for 33 weeks for this year. The first meeting we expect to work for 12 weeks. The second meeting we expect to work for 11 weeks. And the third meeting we expect to work for 10 weeks. This will mean that we'll have 20 good weeks to work in our constituencies. I won't call it recess because we'll have to be in our constituencies. So out of the 52 weeks, we expect to do 33 weeks in the chamber and 20 weeks in Parliament, in our constituencies. Sometimes we call it recess, but I don't think it's a recess because we don't have recess. We go to our constituencies and do the work. Speaker, we expect that the first meeting, as we began on the 7th of January 2025, will come to an end on the 28th of March 2025. That will mean that we'll work for 12 weeks. And then we'll be able to move into our constituencies from 1st April to the 9th of May, 1st April 2025 to 9th of May 2025 for another 6 weeks. We've also programmed that the second meeting will begin on Tuesday, 13th May 2025 and ends on the 25th of August 2025. This will mean that we'll be able to have 11 more weeks for recess, same as the third meeting, which is also accordingly advertised. Speaker, this is the business statement, and I accordingly ask for comment. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable members, the business statement for the second week is duly presented by the chairman of the committee. It is now for members' comment. Honourable Minority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, thank you for the opportunity to comment on the statement presented by the majority leader. Mr. Speaker, he tells us in the business statement, paragraph 2B, he tells us that in the course of the week, he expects some ministers to come and make statements on government policy. So, in other words, he anticipates some swearing-ins and expects that those ministers will be working. This House, particularly our side, indicated from day one that we will assist them to form their government. Because it is only when they form their government that will be able to hold their feet to the fire. But, Mr. Speaker, the question is whether they themselves are ready to form their government. Whether, Mr. Speaker, the Honorable Harun Idrisu should know that we've not passed him yet. If this is going to be his approach to the minority leader, he does so at his own peril. This is a moment of humility and calmness.
But, Honourable Minority Leader, you've assured him that surely he is passed.
Mr. Speaker, rightly so, but subject to good behavior. So, Mr. Speaker, this thought approach in nomination is unacceptable. Fortunately for President Mahama, on the 8th of December, he had the benefit of seeing the weather clear. He had between 8th of December and the midnight of 6th of January to have taken decisions on who would go where, He had a whole 1 month. We are now hearing that the appointment nomination for Interior Ministry is on its way. And Honorable Muntaka, yes, that is in the media. The communication must first come to this House. Yes, it has just been delivered. And we know the content of the communication. Like we told you before. We know. Yes, but it has delayed. It has delayed. Mr. Speaker, we will not accept this thought approach. there are other matters of constitutional concern that at the appropriate time would let the nation know. But, Mr. Speaker, that aside, I believe that our democracy has come of age. It's been over 30 years. 2 years ago, we celebrated 30 years of democracy with a lot of activities. Mr. Speaker, it must never be said that this country still tolerates lawlessness and violence. I was expecting my respected colleague, Dr. Forson, to have found space to introduce this subject matter at the business committee, to even propose that, colleagues, I have heard of violence here, violence there. So, as a house, we should even constitute a bipartisan committee to look into the thuggery in our nation. The majority leader has decided not to talk about this. Just last week, Thursday, the Electoral Commission was ready to finalize the Ablekuma North collation process. What did we see? Some thugs invaded the EC office, threatening lives, destroying properties. Mr. Speaker, this is unacceptable. It puts a black spot on our beautiful democracy. Maybe today it is benefiting somebody, but tomorrow the same thugs that we are encouraging them to be lawless may come back at us. Mr. Speaker, the government cannot pretend not to be aware of this. The Electoral Commission, as a constitutional body, needs protection. The police, headed by the respected IGP and his team, must do all it can to protect the EC. We are aware of the good work they have done thus far, but this is a 276-member chamber. We are 275. The Electoral Commission, in a statement, has said that it is ready to finalize, but tax are preventing it from doing its work. There can't be any more silence on this matter. I call on Mr. President to take charge and call the thuggery out. Mr. Speaker, we know that Mr. President, in his records in this house, was known to be a peace-loving Ghanaian. Mr. Speaker, indeed, his calm approach in addressing media issues was what endeared him to the heart of Ghanaians. So without doubt, I may disagree with him, but I know he's a peace-loving Ghanaian. At Jubilee House, maybe he may be too busy to read the newspapers or to watch the news. But I am taking advantage of this platform, the Chamber of Parliament, to tell Mr. President that there is violence on our streets. The thugs are destroying the gains we have made as a country, and this must end now. Issue 2, which I believe my respected colleague, the majority leader, should have found it necessary to make it part of the business committee's deliberation, is what has just happened in Obuasi.
Let me get you clear.
Yes.
The first issue that you raised, you don't expect the majority leader to put it in the business statement.
What, Mr. Speaker, what I have just said, on point 1, I said I have 2 issues. Issue 1, I was expecting the majority leader to have included the matter in the business committee's deliberations for us to consider, so that at least a bipartisan parliamentary committee could be established after deliberations on the matter to get into this staggering, these attacks. So that is issue one. Issue two, and again, I was expecting him to have also included, that is the Obuasi incident. Mr. Speaker, I know, as politicians, sometimes on the campaign platforms, out of enthusiasm, based on the expectation of the people, we slip here and there. But once you win and you are in charge, you need to call people to order. Mr. Speaker, this country can only survive when the business community has confidence in our country. Anglo Gold Ashanti is listed on the International Stock Exchange. It is a major investment. Anglo Gold Ashanti was shut down for years, and it took quiet diplomacy and engagement to get an investor to invest in Anglo Gold Ashanti. They contribute to our economic growth in this country. What has happened there is very unacceptable. We should not encourage it. It is unfortunate that able-bodied young men have lost their lives. It's unfortunate. Young men who could otherwise be productive for society have lost their lives. It shouldn't be happening. Mr. Speaker, we as a House expected the Honorable Majority Leader to have brought this matter up to the Business Committee. Just the President can make his orders, but this is the people's representative, Dr. Kasiel. Dr. Kasiel Atuba Forsen, my respected Majority Leader, Leader of Government Business. Today is your first time of being at the dispatch box to read business statement. And this is a national issue. The people of Obuasi, your own friend Kweku Kwati, his people are suffering. There's lawlessness in his backyard. It couldn't have been that you of all will forget it and not even table it for discussion. That is my concern. Although you are on your way to the Ministry of Finance, but do something for the records. Do something for the records. Mr. Speaker, it is unacceptable. All the killings, all the lawlessness, Mr. Speaker, this country, all of us, all of us, all of us. Mr. Speaker, they're killing my staff. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Violence must stop. The violence must stop.
Honourable members.
The violence must stop.
Honourable members, order.
The violence must stop. Stop killing your own party people. The violence must stop.
Honourable members.
The violence must stop.
Honourable members, order.
Stop.
Honourable members, order.
Mr. Speaker, on that note,
Honourable Minority Leader, please conclude.
Very well. Mr. Speaker, I shall be grateful for just one more minute to conclude. I thank you, nevertheless, for this treasure space to bring this national issue to the fore. I entertain no doubt that my respected colleague, the Majority Leader, will take this matter up and ensure that the right thing is done, to assure all Ghanaians. That notwithstanding, Mr. Speaker, this is just a teaser. We would come formally, if no action is taken, we would come formally, invoke all the parliamentary tools available at our disposal, available to us, to ensure that if the government does not act, and we don't want any empty action. We don't want empty action. We want a comprehensive action that people would have confidence in. This parliament will have to constitute a committee to immediately visit Obuasi to get into this matter and ensure that the business community gets the assurances. Yes, that the business community get the assurance that this parliament stands with them, that the business community is safe to do business, and all other places that there is violence, government must take steps to stop the violence and allow people to freely do their work. Mr. Speaker, I thank you and I rest my case.
Honorable Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, this morning the business committee met. The Honorable Minority Leader was absent. He did not attend. Mr. Speaker, he did not attend the business committee meeting. And he did not attend the business committee meeting.
Honorable members, order. Honorable members, order. Let's have some order. Honorable members, order. Honorable Chief Whip, you don't have the floor. Honorable Minority Chief Whip. Honorable Minority Chief Whip, you don't have the floor.
No, you don't have the floor.
You don't have the floor. Honorable minority members, order. Order. Honorable minority members, order.
Mr. Speaker, he was visibly absent, visibly missing. The Honorable Chief Whip, the Minority Chief Whip, was present though. But Mr. Speaker, the Chief Whip who represented the caucus also failed to table anything for us to discuss. Mr. Speaker, he failed to table anything as such for us to discuss. And you've turned around to accuse me. Mr. Speaker, I recognize that these are tools that the minority leader can use to address issues of national concern. Mr. Speaker, I recognize that. Mr. Speaker, let me put on record that we in the NDC does not subscribe to violence. We don't. And let no one create an impression. Let no one create an impression. Let no one create an impression that there is an absence of political violence in the Republic of Ghana. That is not the truth. Mr. Speaker, what happened at Obuasi is most regrettable. It's most regrettable. Mr. Speaker, His Excellency the President, President John investigation. Mr. Speaker, His Excellency the President immediately ordered for an immediate full-scale investigation into the killing into the killings of 9 small-scale miners. Mr. Speaker, it is obvious that the government is already in motion. It is obvious that the government has already acted. And so, Mr. Speaker, I will take the matter up with my colleague. But I urge him, Mr. Speaker, I urge him to attend
Let's have some order.
business committee meetings. Mr. Speaker, I was at the business committee meeting. We finished the meeting and I went to the appointment committee meeting. So don't say that you were at the appointment committee meeting. You weren't there. Mr. Speaker, next time, let him attend to the business committee meeting so that together, we can find solutions to national issues. We are here to work for the public, for the Republic of Ghana. Let's work together. And I can assure you, as long as I remain your leader, I will work with you. And together we can find a better way to resolve issues of national importance. Mr. Speaker, I believe that the business statement is quite brief, and so I urge you that we should adopt the business statement for today for us to make progress. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable
No business.
Honourable members, order. Honourable members, order. Honourable members, order. Honourable members, I would engage the 2 leaders of the House, Honorable Stephen Amwa. Honourable members, I would engage the leadership of the House, particularly the minority leader and the majority leader, so that we can effectively resolve the issue. Honourable members, the business statement as presented is hereby adopted. Honourable Majority Leader, any indication?
Mr. Speaker, we agreed that we will be suspending for 20 minutes and we will immediately reconvene into a closed sitting. But prior to that, we will lay reports and then before we go into the closed sitting. Joint caucus meeting, so that we can have a joint caucus meeting before we come back and conclude. Mr. Speaker, hopefully the joint caucus meeting will not last for more than 20 minutes. And so we urge that we stick to our time. Thank you.
So, Honourable Majority Leader, are we laying the reports before we move to the joint caucus meeting? Honourable Minority Leader. Honorable Majority Leader. Well, I recognize Honorable Minority Leader. Minority Leader, you have the floor.
Mr. Speaker, at the pre-sitting, the understanding was we'll proceed with the joint caucus. When we're done and we're back, we proceed with the other matters. So, Mr. Speaker, that's the understanding. And we'll go with that. Thank you.
Honorable members, I suggest that we lay the report for distribution to members. And thereafter, we can do the joint caucus and then come back.
Mr. Speaker, we had, oh, you want to vote? Okay. Vote on what? Mr. Speaker, we had an understanding. Let's go by, Mr. Speaker, let's go by the majority leader's discussion. Let's go by what
Minority
the
Leader, you know the rules of the House. Just address the chair.
Mr. Speaker, the respected leader of government business and leader of the House has suggested that we go into a joint caucus, and upon return, we proceed with other business. That was not the understanding. No. Mr. Speaker, we had an understanding. Let's go into joint caucus. When we come back, the laying will be done. If some orders would have to be suspended for the matter to be taken, we are going to cooperate with you, of course, subject to good behavior.
Honorable Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, Right Honorable Speaker, as earlier indicated, it is time for us to move to a joint caucus meeting, so I urge you to suspend so that we can move into joint caucus meeting. Thank you.
So, honorable members, sitting is accordingly suspended.